Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The button is down there, so don't forget to click it. Then you'll get notified of future videos, and you'll also get a chance to enter competitions and free draws. So anyway, today we're going to talk about Mirage-Hobby's 135th TKS-B Tankette. So let's have a look inside the box. This is a TKS-B Tankette. Two versions, one with a 20mm and one with a 7.92mm machine gun, 1/35th scale. As you can see here, the key thing, the TKS-B, this rear idler is on the ground. Other versions of the TKS, this rear idler, it doesn't touch the ground. So that's the key thing to spot a TKS-B, and that looks good in this image. Look on the sides of the box, there's nothing much there, nothing on the bottom. There's a bit here on the end here talking about how in the 1939 campaign, it's about the TKS armed with a 20mm to successfully engage German tanks and armoured vehicles. And then a ... at the end. I'll cover that in when I talk about a bit of background about this vehicle. But for now, we're just having a look, see what's in the box. So I'll open it up. And we've got the instructions, bit of history on the front here and specifications. Seal bag stapled on the front here. This isn't decals, this is signal flags, paper signal flags. In 1/35th and 1/72nd, but obviously this is a 1/35th kit, so that's neat. And then we open it up and we've got a colour guide there, painting guide, with what they call a Japanese camouflage pattern. And then the steps themselves, 5, 6, 7 steps. There's not too much to this kit, it's a pretty small kit, pretty small vehicle. So it should be a pretty quick build without too much trouble. But as usual, we'll have a quick bit of background to the real vehicle itself, and then we'll go through these step by step and have a look at them. And everything is inside this one bag. So I'll open the bag up and have a quick look at the parts. So inside the bag, there's a little card with Mirage-Hobby's Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/Mirage-Hobby-official, and don't forget to like their Facebook page. Tracks, rubber band variety, they look okay, not too much trouble there. Then 2 sprues, small sprue here, this seems to be mostly the running gear, not seeing any flash. The attachment points look okay. Some nuts, bolts and rivets on the parts. This seems good. The leaf springs, I can make out the individual leaves of the springs. So some nice detail on there. This is the part. No, there's no interior to the vehicle, and the top of the vehicle is all one piece. Doesn't look like there's any hatches or anything with options to open or close. And then lots of nice rivets on the outside there, lots of detail there, and on the bottom here. So it looks quite nice. Rivets on these parts too. There's the cannon. The cannon is not hollow at the end, you'd have to do that. Might be a bit of flash on either side of the cannon. Looks like you have to clean up a little bit, but eminently usable. So all in all, looks quite nice. Oh, there's a radiator there, I think, or grill of some sort. That looks like it would work quite nicely. Yeah, any bit that I'm looking at is this thing down here. I think there should be a middle to it, but there's no bits anywhere. There's nothing in the bag, nothing in the box. So somehow that lot didn't happen, it looks like. So, and there's no picture of these, but so 2-part 8s. A8, A9, boy. So I'll have a look-see and see if we actually need that. Maybe it's not needed, but we'll have a look-see. Okay, let's be clear that this is a what-if build. There was only ever one TKS-B made, and it was to test the running gear. They added clutches to either side, either running gear, and it had great efficiencies, but the cost of it wasn't cost effective at a time when tankettes of this size were going out of favour. Here you see the one photograph I can find of it. It had no armament, but it did have this early... after they'd finished trialling it, the TKS-B, it was used for other prototypes, ended up being a TKS-D prototype for a self-propelled gun. So, that being said, it's this kit. Mirage-Hobby has released this kit a few times before as just a TKS before. It dates from about the mid-1990s somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. I think this is the 4th or 5th reboxing of it. But overall, it's a pretty neat kit all the same. The instructions on the text on the side of the box talks of 20mm armed TKS-Bs destroying German armour. It wasn't TKS-Bs, there were some TKS tankettes that I think 24 were converted to have 20mm cannons, and those did actually destroy some German tanks. But that was it, it definitely wasn't TKS-Bs. Okay, the kit itself is, I've just seen 2 sprues. There's a total of 82 parts in total. Not quite all of them are used because you also have the running gear to make a TKS suspension. Notice that bit that I said that seemed to be broken, and I couldn't find, there was no parts. It looked like maybe it was broken in the mould. You need that wheel for making a TKS. All the parts you need to make the TKS-B are actually here in the kit. I don't know if that's just a one-off with the kit I've got, or there's something with the molds or whatever, but for the name on the front of the box and the sprues inside, you can make what it says on the box. Okay, so now have a look at the steps themselves. Step 1, just simple 2 parts. You're putting together the return rollers. Obviously do this twice, once for each side. Now we come down to look at step 2, which has a 2A for the TKS-B version and a 2B just for the TKS version, which obviously we're not going to use because, well, that's not why you'll have bought this kit, because of the name on the front of the box and also because of that broken part. So step 2A for TKS-B, you're just putting together most of the running gear at the bottom and some nice detail on these parts so you can make out the individual leaves of the leaf spring. And then we do move down to step 3A, and you're basically putting together the 2 assemblies. The return rollers go on top and the running gear underneath. Step 4 is you're putting together the lower hull. Both the sidewalls and the mudguards either side all go together. Then down to step 5, and essentially you're putting the mostly one-piece upper hull onto the lower hull. A few other pieces go on, tools and some handholds, but reasonably straightforward, not too many parts in this kit. On the last page, step 6, we're putting some small parts on the upper hull, exhaust, air intakes, just a few pieces to add on there. And then down at the bottom, the last step, we're adding the running gear to either side of the hull, the tracks, and we have the main armament. You have 2 choices here. You can add the 20mm gun, or you can add the machine gun, which would have been more common. But but once again, this is a hypothetical kit, and the actual prototype was never armed either. Okay, so paints and decals. Firstly, there's no paint references. You have to do your research to work out what colours you want to use. And the painting guide has two options, both using the sort of like pre-war sort of Japanese style camouflage that was used. The top one is as it appears on the proving grounds. Obviously on the proving grounds it wasn't armed. And the bottom one has a 20mm cannon, which obviously was never fitted to this vehicle, and a slight variation on the early camouflage style. So basically you just have to do a bit of research, and you only get one view from the left hand side, so you'll have to do some research if you want to get anything close to accurate, or failing that, make it up as you go along. As for decals, we've got the paper flags that would have been fitted to the top of the vehicle. You'll have to find your own thin wire to actually mount them with though, but they would look pretty neat on top and make it look a bit different. So, an overall conclusion. The detail on the kit is quite nice. There's plenty there to play with. There's not many parts. You'll end up sticking together less than 80 parts, so it could be a pretty quick build if you wanted it to be. It could also be a canvas for something to add a lot of detail to. It's quite reasonably priced. It's just over $10 US. So it's something you don't need to break the bank for, and also something you wouldn't mind giving to somebody who's new to the hobby to play with. And it would be an ideal sort of first kit for somebody like that, because they can do what they want with it. It's reasonably simple, and if they make a mess of it, it's no big expense. So although I quite like it, it's just because you can see the end results really quickly on this one. Many thanks to Mirage-Hobby for sending it along for us to have a look at.